There was once a man who, from his earliest years, felt an unshakable longing to find the ultimate truth of life. He was born into a wealthy family and had every comfort that one could imagine, yet he was never at peace. From the time he could think for himself, questions arose within him like an endless tide. Why am I here? What is the meaning of all this? Is there something beyond birth and death? These questions consumed him, and the pleasures of life seemed like shadows compared to the burning fire of his search. As a young man, he left his home, his family, and his inheritance. People spoke of this awakened one who had found freedom from suffering, who spoke not of theories but of direct experience of truth. There was something in the Buddha stillness that seemed to answer questions without words. I have wandered through lands and minds, suffered through countless teachings and practices, yet I have found nothing. My life is nearly over, and still, I am lost. Please, if you know the truth, tell me, even one word, even one sentence. If it can show me what I have missed, I beg you to share it with me. All these years I have been blind, he whispered. I thought I had to find something outside, but now I see. It was here, always here. For the first time, the seeker felt as though he was in the presence of someone who knew. Truth is not found by running after it. It is realized when the mind becomes still. All his restless seeking dissolved, and the truth he had longed for shone as bright as the sun within his own heart. Like the moon reflected in still water, truth reveals itself when there are no waves of seeking. Something stirred in the seeker's heart when he heard these words. He remained with Buddha for some time, not because he needed more answers, but because he simply enjoyed sitting in that presence of silence and clarity. He became simply a man who lived, who breathed, who smiled at the sky, who watched the flow of life without wanting to grasp it. His search had ended not because he found something new, but because he realized there was nothing to find. Life itself, in its simple and pure form, was the answer. Though he had almost given up hope, he decided to see this Buddha, even if it was for the last time in his life. Then Buddha spoke, but not in long teachings or elaborate explanations. He simply said, "Stop searching. Be still. The truth is within you." He began wandering from one teacher to another, from one village to the next, seeking answers from scholars, priests, sages, and philosophers. Every time he thought he found a glimmer of truth, it slipped through his fingers like sand. He would sit at the feet of a teacher for months, sometimes years, only to leave when he realized that their words did not quench his thirst. He read scriptures, recited chants, practiced rituals, and undertook penances that nearly broke his body, yet his heart remained restless. All his life, he had been moving outward, running from one place to another, from one teacher to another. It was as though he had been standing in a storm all his life, and suddenly the storm stopped. The trees were the same, the sky was the same, but everything felt alive, connected and whole. He realized that the truth he had been seeking was never outside him. It was in the silence of his own being, obscured only by his restless search. He had thought that truth was something far away, something hidden that he had to chase. But in that one simple sentence he felt something break inside. In a lifetime of effort and striving melted away. For the first time, he did not feel the need to run or ask another question. He simply sat down before Buddha and allowed the words to sink in. Time passed. He grew older, but the fire inside him only grew stronger. People around him started calling him the Seeker, for he was known far and wide as the man who searched for something beyond the grasp of ordinary minds. Wherever he went, people offered him food and shelter, thinking that perhaps such a determined soul must be close to divine wisdom. But the man himself felt no closer to the truth than when he had first begun. In his middle years, he turned to nature. He sat alone in forests, by rivers, and on mountain peaks, meditating for days on end. He tried to still his mind, to hear the whispers of existence, but silence itself became unbearable when no answers came. His hair turned gray, his back bent, and his steps slowed. He started to believe that perhaps the truth he was looking for did not exist at all. A small voice inside him whispered that his life had been wasted chasing illusions. This thought filled him with despair, yet he could not stop. His soul would not let him rest without knowing. He wept under the stars at night, asking the universe why it hid its truth from him. He would watch the sunrise and feel a brief moment of wonder, but it faded into the same emptiness he had always felt. He had spent decades searching, and the weight of time began to show on his body. One day, when he was already an old man, he heard of a great teacher known as the Buddha. When he finally arrived where Buddha was teaching, he saw a man of serene presence, neither harsh nor indulgent, radiating a peace that the seeker had never witnessed before. He approached Buddha and bowed deeply. With trembling voice, he said, "All my life I have searched for truth." Buddha looked at him with compassion. There was silence between them, a silence that seemed to stretch beyond time. The seeker was stunned. These were not the kind of words he had expected. In that stillness, something remarkable happened. He felt a quietness he had never known before. Tears flowed down his face as he looked at Buddha. Buddha smiled gently and said, "The more you search, the more you create distance between yourself and truth." The seeker felt a deep peace descend upon him. The endless questions that had tormented him all his life disappeared like mist in the morning sun. In the days that followed, he no longer identified himself as a seeker. The man who had spent his whole life searching discovered that in the stillness of a single moment, with one simple sentence from the Buddha,